So listen, here to discuss Romney's strategy going forward, I have writer and strategist for the Tea Party Patriots, Michael Prell, and the King's College professor, David Corbin. Fellas, I said early on, among the many adjectives I chose for this debate last night and its outcome, that it might have been historic. That CNN poll kind of confirms it. What do you think? Was this a historic debate performance?
Well, I'm a veteran of about 300 campaigns around the world, and I've never seen anyone get crushed the way Obama got crushed last night. It was devastating. But don't get overconfident. Here's my warning to the Romney camp. Think like the last scene in Terminator. Look at the robot. Keep crushing and crushing and crushing until the red light in his eye goes out, because I've been around long enough to see when you think you've crushed them, I've seen enough of these guys get back up and come back at you. So keep going, keep crushing. It was great. It was a start, but it wasn't a finish.
Well, let's give some specifics to what you're talking about. David, look, 1984, President Reagan goes into a debate against Walter Mondale, and most people say he lost that debate, the first of many debates. 2004, John Kerry goes in against President George W. Bush, and everyone says John Kerry wins that debate handily, going on to, they say, losing the next two debates and losing the election. What do you think? Is this as big a win as those two, and does it mean as little as those two?
I think it's a bigger win than those two, and I think the reason why it's a bigger win than those two is that we look at those two debates as one-on-one, and what we really saw last night is we saw Mitt Romney capture the narrative of this race. And the narrative of this race now is this country is a mess, and there are two ways out of this mess. There's the individual who's been leading you for 4 years and leading you into more of a mess, or there's another way. There's an American way. So it's not simply that Mitt Romney defeated Obama last night. Mitt Romney's narrative took over the narrative of this campaign. And that's what he's going to work on moving forward.
Right, so let's do that. Let's move forward, right? Let's talk about that narrative. Now we've all agreed this is maybe one of the most historic wins in presidential debate history. Let's talk about how that momentum is carried forward for Mitt Romney. Look, I have another number from that CNN poll, and it's that 82% of the respondents felt like Mitt Romney did better than expected, okay? So that means his expectations, for whatever reason, were fairly low, and they exceeded them. They're not going to be low going forward. So let's focus just on debates for a moment. How does he match that performance? Can he expect President Obama to be as weak as he was last night?
Well, the thing about last night's debate, it was the first time that most people in America saw him for longer than 30 seconds. All they knew about him before last night was that he left his dog on the roof of a car, or he killed some guy's wife, or, you know, he was an embezzler, or he was a fraud. That's what they knew about him going in. They got to see him extended. And what happened last night was he established his brand in the minds of millions of people for the first time. And when you establish a brand for the first time, I've done this over and over, it's hard to switch off. He may have set the tone for this whole campaign last night.
How do you revert? How do you keep from reverting to what has been the narrative for the past, let's say, what, 1 month, 2 months? It's the dog on the top of the car narrative. It's this guy is a terrible aristocrat. How does he not fall back into that now that he has to go through super PAC ads and mainstream media again?
Well, he focuses on his way forward, not on his person. And so he offered last night a way forward for the American people that means low taxation, that means not punishing big business, that means that you're against trickle-down government. All of these ideas are not simply about Mitt Romney. They're a way that the American people want to understand themselves. So he became the American candidate last night. That's his new brand, the American candidate. But another thing that happened last night that's very important, in 90 minutes, he undid $600 to $800 million of spending by the Democratic Party and the Obama administration that tried to brand him differently. So he's undone that. He's got to work that brand hard now moving forward.
Do you think he can, by the way, do you think he can carry this narrative from the debate into the over-the-air advertising and the interviews with the mainstream media? I mean,
absolutely. He did the basic job a candidate must do.
But what evidence do you have?
His ballot question was this. First of all, the evidence is this. Not just we are talking about this. He lost the left. He lost the media.
Talking about Barack Obama now.
Barack Obama, absolute catastrophe. And then they're saying that Mitt Romney showed massive competence. Tom Brokaw said this is the candidate the Republican Party has been waiting to show up. Tom Brokaw. I mean, when you get Tom Brokaw, I'm pretty sure you're going to get some people who are undecided in America. And he did the most important thing last night, Mitt Romney. He defined the ballot question. He said, quote, what kind of America do you want for yourselves and for your children? And guess what? Barack Obama hasn't defined what he wants for America yet.
And then guess who gets to pick up that brand next Tuesday? Paul Ryan. And so we have trust in Paul Ryan to be able to go and deliver a knockout debate. He's going against Joe Biden also. So this is the second round. The second round is an individual who really a lot of people think is off his rocker, going against an individual who knows this American way inside and out.
But what about this? There's the argument that's being made that one of the things Mitt Romney did last night is tack to the center, that he presented his positions in a more moderate manner. I mean, my gosh, he said that he doesn't want to cut taxes on the wealthy. Very clearly, I do not want to cut taxes on the wealthy. Meanwhile, now, what we look forward to next is Paul Ryan, who's unabashedly, unashamedly conservative. Now, does that not change the dynamics?
But that was Reagan also. Reagan said it's not a left-right thing. Reagan said it's an up-down thing, and we got to move up. We got to move up with the American way, and moving up with the American way means freeing the American people to be able to take their country back.